So if we say that presence is the ground.
Mm-hmm.
If you only have a little presence, then there isn't a lot of room for a lot of volume of insight.
Yes.
If you have a lot of presence, then the same amount of discovery leads to a much larger volume of insight.
More presence?
More presence?
More good.
More good. Same amount of work. Right? So what are you feeling right now? Right? Isn't going to lead to... So, what are you feeling right now? Right there.
Because I'm noticing...
The more present I am to you, the more I will naturally adapt my communication towards what works for you, what works with you. Right? That's the natural interdependence of wholesomeness. Right? One of our 5 dimensions is that we relate, that we are social beings, and that our natural intuition says the more we relate, the more potential we have for partnership. The more potential we have to multiply our good feelings and our effectiveness. Right? It's just built into the human biology, right? It's part of what was selected for our natural selection and evolution. That capacity to relate. Because the more we can partner, the more you and I can deal with the world effectively, so that you and I are both more likely to survive and thrive.
Yes.
And so that presence is the ground. Because if I'm not present to you, then I can't get in sync with you. I can't adapt to you. I can't build that emotional common ground that is the basis of partnership. Right, which is what one of the simple rules in communication is relationship before information. The more relationship, the more the information transfer can happen. The more presence,
the more relationship.
The more relationship.
Presence leads to relationship.
Leads to information. Yes. So then we say, okay, so we've got this presence. Now, let's look at 4 different accesses to the space that presence makes possible.
Yes.
Right? Now, these can be thought of in terms of sequence. Just like if you're building a house, you kind of put up one side at a time. And if you put up the side that's connected, so there is a sequence involved, but it's not only a sequence. So the sequence that we suggest is that you start off with the explorer, and then you go to the warrior, and then the deep sea diver, and then the midwife. And all of these are about getting into that space, bringing all the energy into that space and blossoming that space.
Yes.
Now, the more you do that, the farther you explore, the more you are the warrior, the more present you are during each of these, because the presence determines, right? But the more time you spend in the explorer, the warrior, the deep diver, the midwife, the more you go in there, it's like the more energy you're putting into this, and this gets higher.
Yes.
And higher. Right? And higher. And that is the more volume that gets put on that space.
Yes.
And then we're going to say that this top, right, is the integration, the integrator.
And then we do a lot. Oh, and this is where we could get nonlinear as we go. Boom, 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 boom.
Yes.
And then shoo.
And the integrator
Mm-hmm.
is where we do the cross beams. Right? This is where we connect the top of our explorer to the bottom of our midwife, and the top of our explorer to the bottom of, right? Right? This is where we connect everything and bring everything into one piece. The integrator takes the insights from all of these pieces at each of the stages and connects them all so that this becomes a solid piece that you can build on and build in. It also becomes a pier, right? If you've got another circle, it's all interconnected. You can build a structure on the pier. It's like you've got pillars going down on which you build the structure of your life. And the stronger those pillars are, and the more they're connected with one another, the stronger the overall base of your consciousness comes from, so that you're naturally coming from the place that comes naturally from these things. And part of that is, and this is part of the metaphor I'm playing with, the top is the integrator, right? It's the putting on the lid so you can build all the connections. If you've got a container that's tight, right? If you've connected the top to all of the pieces down below, then it can handle more and more energy.
Yeah.
Right? Without, and it can contain it. But if the container's not really tight, if you haven't really done the integration,
it's a great metaphor.
if you bring up too much energy,
Yeah.
then it'll end up popping leaks.
Yeah.
And you won't be able to contain the energy. And so you need to have all four walls, you need to have the floor, the ground, and you need to have the integration in order to have it be a complete piece. And the more complete it is, the more energy it can handle. And therefore the more energy you can connect to other things. And the more connections you make to the other circles that you've done, right? The more you have these connections, the more stable your overall personality becomes in this new world versus the way that it was.
Versus which is based on exploring the territory.